Welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast. If you're from the future, you know what to do. Get your ass out of here. Don't disrespect the legend. Hip hop is here to stay. Let's get right into the business.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and welcome to another bonus episode, another hip-hop video reaction right here on Hip Hop Now Podcast. Shout out to the members of this podcast, and if you would like to become a member and see this video much earlier than the rest of everybody else did, I'm saying some people saw it a little bit earlier, but there are other perks that come along with becoming a member of Hip Hop Now Podcast. All of the proceeds I receive for this podcast are put right back into the production and promotions of this podcast. So let's say you like, yo, I got $5 for you. That $5 can go right into a promotional campaign, or I take your $5, put it with my 300 and whatever dollars to go get, more lights or something like that. So every time you donate to the podcast in whatever form, becoming a member or just straight up CashApp or whatever, it goes right back into the podcast. You're not paying my mortgage. So don't feel like some people out here, you paying their bills. I haven't reached the point where I have enough subscribers and members for sure that I can say, I can put all my time into the podcast. So without further ado, let's get right into the business at hand. This is a video that I came across. Let's just cut to that real quick instead of talking. So this is a video I came across, again, in recommendations on YouTube, and I saw the title and it said, "Meet the greatest wu-tang rapper that never was." And it was U-God's face. And I was like, the greatest? Okay, I'm going to have to watch this. So shout out to For the Love of Hip Hop. This is his video. I assume it's just him or maybe a couple of people. But go and support the channel. If this interests you, go watch the video. The link to this video will be in the description of my episode. But without further ado, let's watch this joint because I have to see what he has to say about U-God. Let me just put a disclaimer, right? U-God, he's not somebody whose album I would check for. But the album Dopium, I really liked. I really liked it. But most people either like U-God and they're by themselves, or you hate when U-God starts rapping on Wu-Tang tracks. You're either one or the other. But I'm curious to see what is being said here.
I'ma give it to you with no trivia. Roll like cocaine straight from Bolivia.
Tunes fit the immortal combat sound. The fake ball step make the blood stain the ground. Yo, is that pinky ring-ish? The legend of Masket.
The most mysterious members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
You think so?
This man that we talking to is an integral part of the Wu-Tang Clan and an integral part of the hip-hop landscape.
In the early 90s,
Wait, hold up. You see the way Talib had the integral part because he's yelling at us fans because we always say U-God's the whack one. But I don't know. Let's just go back to the beginning and see what they have.
Of the Wu-Tang Clan and an integral part of the hip-hop landscape.
in the early 90s, the sound that came out of Staten Island was raw. A clan of 9 men would rise and remake the face of hip-hop.
And speaking of Wu-Tang, arguably one of the greatest groups, hip-hop groups of all time.
But even within this great hip-hop group,
Of course.
one voice remained largely unheard. One warrior was left waiting for his moment.
He's been an unsung hero, operating behind the scenes, often in the back rooms of history.
He had the passion. He had the talent. He had a unique voice that would change the landscape of the hip-hop world. But unfortunately, he also carried chains no record labels could break.
This man is a survivor, a storyteller, a lyrical samurai.
Tragedies, prisons, and politics of brotherhood pushed him into the background.
In and out of prison at the time.
We are getting into the life story of U-God, the greatest Wu-Tang rapper that never was. Lamont Jody Hawkins was born on November 10, 1970, in one of the toughest corners of New York City, Brownsville, Brooklyn, a place where survival wasn't guaranteed. Violence was everywhere.
You God is also from Brooklyn? I like him already. Nah, I'm just playing. I didn't know that. I didn't know you God was from Brooklyn. You learn something every day.
And the lives of black people were quite difficult. Growing up, he saw street violence, drugs, robberies, guns, and fistfights.
Yeah,
he never knew about his father. It was just him and his mother in the first 12 years of his life.
Around my mother. What you say, can't, boy? She'll chase me around the house.
These difficulties drove him toward his passion, and he was determined to live a valuable and different life from those around him. In the late 1970s, he and his mom moved out of Brooklyn and settled in Staten Island. This was the area where a 9-man army rose to change the face of the East Coast rap world.
Even though we crazy hip-hop family, some crazy motherfuckers I grew up with, bro.
Even after settling into Staten Island, Brooklyn never got out of his life. In fact, it was U-God's core. The dark life of its streets became an essential part of his music.
Dang.
We can find an example of it in his track, Drugs, that reflects his life around addiction and selling drugs in the streets of New York.
We're going to stop right there just for a second. No disrespect to you, God. No disrespect to the video. Meet the greatest Wu-Tang rapper that never was. That snippet you just played right there from a song that I assume was on a solo track. It's one of the reasons why people weren't checking for him, because there was something. He's had his moments, but there was something about him, U-God, when he started rapping that felt a little less subpar compared to his companions. Now, granted, that's just how it goes. Some dudes gonna be nicer than others, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of people who felt comfortably calling U-God straight up whack, right? That snippet, I was like, I don't ever want to hear that song. Dopium, mess with it. That one, I don't know. Let's keep going.
Eventually, he became part of a close circle of friends, including Raekwon, Method Man, Inspector Deck, and Capadonna, who shared interests like beatboxing and street activities.
Going to school and hustling at the same time. And I just incorporated the things I felt that, that the universe might want to hear. You know?
During his school years, he started beatboxing for Capadonna and Raekwon. This beatboxing gave him the idea of beat coordination. Eventually, his physical coordination started improving, and he became quite good at his art. Along with it, he started songwriting too. When he was 16, he came up with his verse that was later used on The Mystery of Chess Boxing.
Run into the wall and bang your head. I put the force, my bullshit down, and I make the devil's cowards who.
Well, I wrote that verse when I was 16. And a lot of verses that we had on the 36 Chambers and all that stuff was written when we was kids.
RZA was a DJ at the time and soon became friends with U-God. By 1989, RZA moved into his own apartment, his crib becoming the first studio of Wu-Tang Clan. U-God, Meth, RZA, and Ghostface were the first ones to utilize it. RZA had left DJing and was serious about making a rap group. While learning about music and trying different things, these 4 dudes created I Get Down for My Crown.
I get down for my crown.
They dubbed tapes and passed them to other brothers in the neighborhood. Eventually, everyone in the neighborhood knew about this track. They were singing and praising it. This was the first time U-God felt he could become a successful rapper. To him, it was his first successful step toward a music career, and he was hopeful of getting fame and the appreciation of his skills. But unfortunately, life had other plans for him. Eventually, the 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan came together. RZA was the mastermind. GZA was a genius. Method Man and Old Dirty were the performers who brought their natural charm to their music. Inspector Deck was the artist. Ghostface Killer was the storyteller. Master Killer was a natural. Raekwon was the creator of the mafioso rap genre. And U-God was the ambassador. He was everywhere from the beginning. He was hustling in the streets with Meth. He was beatboxing in the hallways of 160 with ODB and Ray. He was writing lyrics that RZA would love and wish to turn into music.
They say you got lucky. Motherfucker lucky.
Right.
Mother, do you understand the amount of footwork we had to put in?
Yeah.
We had to do every radio station on the West Coast.
But in the end, they all got the peaks to fame, except for him. His first hurdle came during the recording of Wu-Tang's debut album, which was going to define them and become their seminal release in hip-hop history.
Before you got locked up, was the whole album done?
Well, it wasn't done. I came home right on time to get on 2 songs, and I ran into the studio, and I got on 2 songs.
In 1992, shortly before the recording of Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, U-God was arrested on a firearms possession charge in Staten Island. Court records from the period confirmed that he faced legal issues related to this case, which resulted in a prison sentence that overlapped with the Klan's formative studio sessions. As a consequence, U-God was absent for most of the album's recording.
But I got locked up again.
The showcase when they actually went to the office and got signed, or was it something else?
In the showcase when we performed in front of them, in front of BMG peoples and all that.
Because of all this,
So we got, maybe 6 more minutes. We're about halfway through. I want to say this because I'm not, we'll see how it plays out. And I don't want to project like I watched this already. But the angle that I'm feeling from this is, circumstance. Locked up, so I wasn't really on there like that. Locked up, so when we did the showcase, the labels didn't get the look at me I would have got that the other guys have gotten or had, or the opportunities, right? I think there's something to be said about what you do with the opportunities you do have. And again, you've seen so far in this video, there's a number of verses from U-God that I like, and I feel like he's right in step with everybody in the Wu. But I've heard others like that snippet. I've heard other things, especially solo projects, that bring you right back to the reason why most Wu fans used to feel the way they felt about him, which had nothing to do with opportunities and labels, right? Had a lot to do with performance and skills. And I feel like U-God had a pocket where he could get busy like that. But then he had another version that was probably the dominant version where he was usually lackluster to fans in performance. That don't have nothing to do with any of the things that were mentioned as far as opportunity and moments and him getting locked up. It's about when we heard you, it wasn't always stellar or comparable to the other Wu members. Now, again, there are people who like U-God a lot and will defend his music, but I feel like there's a thin line between rooting for the underdog, even within his own group, and somebody just being dope. Now, I will say this before we end this, and I'm just going to guess, but I feel like if U-God wasn't in the Wu, he probably would have had a more successful career. Not more successful than the Wu, but I mean, as far as his own image. Because back then, his style and his flow, there were artists like that. And it didn't matter if they were the best. It was more so about technique and hip hop and stuff like that. And I feel like he's always represented hip hop. But within this group, there's too many guys to choose from. So, if you into Ghost and Method Man and Jizza and Spectre Deck, U-God comes across as straight up whack compared to them. But again, he's had moments where I could see if he just wasn't affiliated with them, he was just from Brooklyn, then maybe it would turn out differently. But again, I'm guessing in advance. So let's see.
he only got a single verse, which was on The Mystery of Chess Boxing. It was his prominent contribution to the album. Besides that, as well as his verse on Protect Your Neck, he was only in the background in a few songs.
And I just did my song, and I did my little piece, and I kept it moving.
Needless to say, he was largely overshadowed by the other 8 members, many of whom went on to release solo projects almost immediately. Method Man became the breakout star with multiple standout verses. Old Dirty Bastard became an iconic figure almost immediately due to his eccentric style and stage presence. Raekwon and Ghostface began solo album preparations, gaining early fame before You God could capitalize on his talent. But this debut album did give him a cult following among diehard Wu-Tang fans who knew he was a founding member.
East Coast wasn't really getting the props it deserved until Wu-Tang came out. And then I feel like everything just kind of blew up after that.
Well, you know, we make street rap popular.
The unexpected success of 36 Chambers created a hierarchical system inside the Wu-Tang Clan, and You God was the one who suffered the most. The album gave success to other Wu-Tang Clan members, so labels wanted their names. Cameras captured their faces, ignoring You God. RZA instantly took the role of the leader. His initial order wasn't malicious, but it was strategic. He pushed the artists he believed would break first, like Meth, GZA, Raekwon, Ghostface, and ODB. That's how the Wu-Tang Machine expanded into film, fashion, and solo deals.
He wasn't worried about me. He had all them side groups, man.
But the system of the Wu-Tang Machine expanded into film, fashion, and solo deals.
He wasn't worried about me. He had all them side groups, man.
But this system created tiers within the clan, and found himself in the lowest one.
Some certain brothers was cool, but you know, me, Master Killer, and Deck, man, we suffered the most behind that.
This frustrated him, so he decided to bounce back as soon as possible. But fate was planning something else.
There was a shooting involved, and someone actually used your son as a human shield.
Yeah, on some sucker shit, yeah.
In 1994, just months after the clan reached mainstream success, You God received heartbreaking news. His 2-year-old son, Dante, was hit by a stray bullet during a shootout in Staten Island. His child nearly died.
He dies 2 times and comes back.
The incident shattered him emotionally and spiritually. For 2 years, he dealt with his pain alone. He suffered through it, stuffed the pain in his heart, and decided not to go to therapy.
I had a nervous breakdown and on all of the stuffing and the pain and all the shit I done went through. Wow. Then finally capsized and reached this boiling point.
Due to his anger, he got...
Hold up. See, now, to me, this is what... he's probably done it. I know he has a book and all that stuff. But I think at an early part of his career, or maybe even like with his very first album, some will say it's on there, but I heard it, songs are whack. But I feel like his style doesn't go with someone who could tell like that story. He's not the storyteller to tell his story in the form of rap. That's why I'm kind of glad he has a book, and I'll probably read it because this brother been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And even his experience with the Wu, like he just said, with Capadonna and Deck, and how they suffered because the machine of the Wu was taken off, and their turn was like back burner, you know, as a result. But I kind of feel like they all had an opportunity. It just came late. But You God specifically, when you look at what he's been through, and none of this stuff is new to me, but when you look at what he's been through, if he was a different kind of MC as far as delivery and flow, and you know, with the right production, obviously, he can have a very compelling album. Like when you think about those first Wu-Tang albums that kind of fit the personalities of the members, You Gods could have been totally different from everybody else's. It could have been the realest street rap in the form of, you know, song. Sure, Only Built for Cuban Links was street rap, but that was more like mafia movie / you know, they were trying to convey something cinematic, whereas maybe You God's angle could have just been reality, you know. That would have been dope. That would have made him stand out, and maybe people would respect his pen a little bit more. And again, I know there's some You God fans, diehard You God fans out there. I know when I say that, you're like, what? Really? But no, they are. And some of them can probably talk to, you know, what I'm saying. Like maybe he's already created this. And if you're one of those people watching, please leave the album in the description of the episode We live in the streaming services days, so I don't have to go and buy it because I might not like it, but I wouldn't mind hearing an album that's doing exactly what I'm saying. So from you, God.
Got involved in different fights and suffered their consequences. At last, he decided to go to therapy.
I didn't know nothing about therapy. You know, I usually just self-medicate and just bury all the shit I went through.
While he was dealing with this pain and therapy issues, his Wu brothers were touring, performing, and climbing the charts. This tragedy derailed his ability to capitalize on Wu-Tang's sudden fame, leaving him at a personal and professional disadvantage. After dealing with 2 back-to-back mishaps, U-God decided to make a much stronger impact on Wu-Tang's second wave, Wu-Tang Forever.
So the second album comes out and goes multi-platinum.
Yeah.
In this 1997 album, he appeared more prominently, with verses on songs like It's Yours, Black Shampoo, Impossible, and Deadly Melody. His deeper involvement showed the world what he could do when finally given space. Critics praised his heavy vocal tone and aggressive delivery, calling him one of Wu's most underrated assets. The world was recognizing him now. He was way behind his Wu brothers, but was slowly building his reputation and fame. After the success of Wu-Tang Forever, U-God released his debut solo album, Golden Arms Redemption, in 1999. This album peaked at number 58 on the Billboard 200 and number 15 on the R&B hip-hop chart.
Since my adolescence, expelled from preschool, I'm on a mission, because hard heads never learn a lesson.
It gave him a cult following among Wu fans who appreciated his dark, street-rooted style. This street rapper was stealing their hearts with his authenticity, unique background, and booming voice. But his solo album was not a commercial smash like Method Man's or Ghostface albums. The main reason was the delay. Wu-Tang was at its peak in 1994. People had already chosen their Wu-Tang stars and weren't looking for any other ones. In the coming years, U-God struggled a lot. His solo albums were coming out. People were loving them, appreciating him.
I try to keep that nostalgic sound and bring it up to 2013.
But the hierarchy of the group was making him frustrated. He felt like a passenger, a laborer in the group he helped create. And he was not happy with RZA's leadership.
The problem is with him, he wanted everybody to be underneath his punk ass.
In his book, he describes years of feeling underpaid, undercredited, and financially struggling. He claims he wasn't receiving his fair share of touring money, publishing royalties, or project revenue.
Instead of dealing with the 9 members he had, I mean, he put a lot of brothers in front of certain brothers who was actually there in the beginning.
By 2007, tension finally erupted. U-God filed a $170,000 lawsuit against Wu-Tang Productions, claiming unpaid royalties.
According to you, the Klan has been screwing him out of revenue for years.
The world was shocked by this. Things became tense in the group, impacting the status of U-God. Despite all this, he remained in the Klan, contributing to every album and tour. His consistency was appreciated by his hardcore fans. But in the mainstream media, he wasn't getting the promotional tours and budgets his Klan members were getting.
That you're trying to convince the DJ to play, you also got to make a rap for the DJ with his name in it just to get him to play the rap you already gave him.
His second album, Mr. Excitement, received poor production and promotion. But U-God never gave up. He kept showing up for his fans. And at last, in 2018, he got a sort of revival. His album, Venom, was received with a lot of love. In the same year, he wrote his autobiography, Raw, My Journey into Wu-Tang. This book also gave him fame and recognition. No doubt, this rapper has the potential, but the lack of budget, clashes with RZA, and personal tragedies didn't let him become the greatest Wu-Tang rapper. What are your thoughts about him? Do share with us in the comments section. And watch our latest.
See, he did one on Inspector Deck. Also, let's just stop the sharing real quick. My thoughts are the title is a little misleading. First of all, shout out to For the Love of Hip Hop. And again, it's an opinion. And at the end, you heard what he said. What do you think? So this is what I'm telling you. It's 9 members, right? And when you're looking at the Wu, there's what he mentioned here, the business side. Like the RZA was smart to do what he did. Unfortunately, there were going to be casualties, but it's not just like I said earlier. I'm saying, U-God didn't, perform well in every situation where he had his moments, because he did on a lot. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, Inspector Deck, who was one of the most highly anticipated albums in the Wu, his situation was a little bit worse because of the flooding and the original album that was going to be released. And by the time they actually released Inspector Deck's album, Just Like You God, the buzz on the Wu was like, again, you messing with Method Man over here with Redman, Ghost and Ray doing their thing, like Jizza. So you've ODB. So it's like the train had already left without these members. The only thing with You God is, first of all, Dopium I like a lot. I might go back and listen to that first album because I think I heard it in the moment. And for me, I know personally, depending on what point in hip hop certain albums came out, if I said I'd never heard them or I don't really remember them like that, or I just remember them being whack, it could be just the climate of the time. Like if we get a bunch of dope hip hop, there's just certain things, especially back in the days when you needed to buy it, that didn't get no burn or run because I chose something else. Especially with You God, my anticipation was or expectations were low, so I wasn't checking for him, to be honest. Dopium was something that somebody told me to listen to, and I was like, yo, this is all right. You know what I'm saying? Like it was better than I expected for it to be a You God solo. But like I said earlier, he had to at times show up in certain songs in order for there to be some kind of buzz. Now it's messed up because he is a founding member and he probably did a lot to shape what the Wu was in them early stages. But I mean, you can't get business, you can't get new business. You should get old business, right? Whatever money is owed to you from the origins of the group. But new business is new business. And I get it with Jizza. It felt, I mean, not Jizza, with RZA, it felt like he broke some promises to some of the members because by the time it came to, the Capodanas and the You Gods, it didn't have the RZA behind the production, behind the product as much. And that's just the game, right? The game that you have all these deals and they want that next Method Man and they want that next Raekwon and then they want Ghost and Jizza. So I like this little documentary about You God. It makes me interested in his book more than anything. I need to see what the review is about it. And also around that time when he dropped the book, I was working at New York Public Radio in Soho, and which is a public media company, but they can get some really high profile guests. Now I know what you're saying, like You God, dog, when the Avengers movies came out, all of the Avengers came through that station to do interviews. All of them. Captain America, all your favorite. The only one, I don't think Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man was there, but everybody else was there. Same thing when Star Wars came back. So I saw You God in the office one day. I didn't know he was going to be on anybody's show, but he was on one of the programs, and I knew he had a book out, but I still didn't read. I still didn't read it because I'm like, it's You God. So it's not Ghost. If it's Ghost, I'm going back there like to sit in the production studio. But what do you think? Are you a fan of You God? Did you enjoy this little documentary? Definitely go and support For the Love of Hip Hop. This is his video from his channel. The link will be in the description of this episode. Well, is as you're watching this, right? So definitely, if you like that and check out his other videos, go and subscribe. But let me know what your thoughts are on You God. Is he the whack member of the crew? Is he complaining about a solo career when he's just maybe a rapper who is best paired with somebody? Because that's a like a thing. in hip hop that nowadays, where there are really not many groups, actually, I don't think there's none besides what, Migos out. It feels like some rappers would sound better as a part of a group. And I think God, from time to time, he would have a verse like on Triumph. When his verse on Triumph, I say it just like everybody else's verse. And it's God. So he can't be that whack, right? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Become a member if you want to know what memberships are about here on Hip Hop Now Podcast. Click the link in the description of this episode. Till next time, y'all, I'm not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.